I'm getting so tired. I'm getting so.
Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and welcome to the show, y'all. Look here. Everybody in prison looks forward to the day that they will be getting out. 95% of everybody in prison will be getting out one day. Now, it may take 5 years, it might take 40 or 50 years, but they will get out. All they have to do is live. Now, it's just a handful of people that have life without parole or the death penalty. You know what I'm saying? So those situations are a little different. They make up that 5% of people that, there are situations that they may never get out unless something happens in the courts or the governor or whatever the case may be, right? Now, the sad reality is that most people that end up in prison, they end up staying in prison longer than they have to because they're too busy trying to blend into their surroundings and survive the experience and all of this and that, right? And that's what this story is about. It's about this brother that I knew named Lil D, right? Lil D came into the penitentiary, with a 25 at 30. I'm not sure exactly what he did. But some people say it was drugs. Some people say it was, attempted murder, a combination of all of this different type of stuff, right? But Lil D was a good dude. Lil D was a good dude, man. He did his time like most people that come in that are young and do their time. Because when he came in, he was just 20 years old. Everything was fast to him. Everything was fast. Everything was fast. Nothing that was going on. When I'm talking about from the time Lil D woke up in the morning, he had to, they put him in a GED class because he didn't have his GED. So from the time he got up in the morning, he was in class, he's moving fast. He do his homework fast, can't wait to get to break so he can go out on break and smoke a cigarette or smoke him some of that green or whatever the case may be. After school, he wants to play basketball, he wants to play softball, he wants to lift weights. He's doing everything he can to make his time go fast, but time don't go fast like that. We fool ourselves into believing that because we keep our days full of things going on so that, it'll move or it'll appear to be fast, and then by the time, we think about it, it's time to go to sleep, get back up and start all over again. Now, Lil D, his family life wasn't as bad as a lot of people's, His family was in the church real tough and all of the different types of stuff, but he strayed, got off the path, got out there in the streets, was sneaking around doing some stuff, and he got caught up. His parents were totally shocked that he even caught a case. They thought that, he was doing everything that he was supposed to be doing, but he was lying to everybody. He was putting on and being somebody that he wasn't. Now, when he came to the penitentiary, the church that his family went to, the church that he grew up in, they had a prison ministry outreach thing, right? And basically what they did, they didn't come to the prisons, but they wrote people in prison to encourage them and tell them about the Lord and keep them, hopeful that things were going to work out for them, right? If they, just recognize that the Most High was a part of their life and accept that, right? So one day, Lil D got a letter from this girl named Carolyn. She was part of the prison ministry writing program at the church that he grew up in, that his family went to. And so when he got the letter, he wasn't sure if it was the girl that he knew named Carolyn that went to the church and went to the school that he went to, but he wanted to see. So he wrote her back. And when he wrote her back, he asked her, did she go to high school, what year and all this and that, And she hit him back and said, yes, I know you. We went to school together, this, that, and the third. And she reminded him of how he would be able to know her and remember her. And he remembered how smart she was, how beautiful she was. But she was a very, very serious young lady. She knew what she wanted in her life. She knew the type of life that she wanted to live. She wanted to live a God-fearing life and do all of the right things, go to school, graduate from school, go to college, graduate from college, get married, have kids, and live that type of life, God-fearing. Now, again, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that Lil D wasn't about all of that. He just went off the course, So they continued to write back and forth for a while. And before long, Lil D got the nerve up to ask her, Because he was digging what she was saying. It wasn't about him trying to come up. They just grew closer together, because she was ministering to him and he would read the verses and then, he would write back to her and telling her what he got out of it and vice versa. That's how they were doing. And he really developed a bond, a closeness to her that made him want to know more about her, made him want to get to know her a little bit better. So he wrote and he asked her, would she come to visit him? Now, as part of the prison ministry program that they had at that particular church, that was a no-no. That was already understood. When you get in the program, you're not, going to be visit people in prison, because the reason was that, she was writing several different guys and women that were in prison to minister to them. So they didn't want to create a situation where that might be a problem, because people in prison get possessive, y'all. I'm telling you. They'll get to thinking about this, that. Next thing you know, they're in a relationship with you and you don't even know it. You understand what I'm saying? It gets like that. I'm telling y'all. I'm telling you. But anyway, she talked to her parents about it. He wrote and told his parents about it. And she talked to his parents about it, because she was digging him too. She was. So they decided the best thing to do was to talk to the pastor that was over that program in the church. It wasn't the head pastor, but it was one of the assistant pastors. And he told her that if she really wanted to do this, that she would have to get out of the prison ministry letter writing program, and then she could go. No hard feelings, nothing like that, right? But they didn't want her to continue to be in the program and be writing prisons and other guys and other people in prison, the females prison. They didn't want any trouble out of that. So she agreed that she was going to drop out. She really didn't want to, because she felt like she was really doing something worthwhile, but she did because it was something about Lil D that made her want to know him better as well. So she wrote him back after a week and told him that she had decided that she would come to visit him. She told him what she had to go through, talk to the pastor, talk to his parents, her parents, and all this and that. And they all agreed that the best thing for her to do if she wanted to pursue whatever this was going to be, that for her to get out of the program. And Lil D took that to believe that something special is going on. She gave all of this up for me, And he felt some kind of way about that. He felt real good about it, but at the same time, he was missing the point. He thought that she really, really wanted to be with him. Now, don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. She didn't know if she wanted to be with him or not, but she was curious about him, and she did want to see him because she really wanted to minister to him. She wanted to help him get to know the Lord better. So they worked everything out. He sent her the visitation form. She filled it out. She gets on his list. The first visit she goes to visit him, she goes with his parents. And they get to visit, and she's dressed appropriately, nothing tight-fitting or anything like that. But she's beautiful. She's drop dead gorgeous. And when she walks in, he gets all nervous. He gets all nervous about the situation. He greets his parents and hugs his mom and his dad and all this and that. And then he looks at her and he's not sure if he should hug her or not. And she reaches out to him and said, "We can hug." And she hugged him. And when they hugged each other, sparks flew. They flew. Something ignited in her and something ignited in him. And they both knew it. Because when they pulled away from each other, they looked at each other, and it was like something's going on here. You know what I'm saying? So his mother and Carolyn, they went to the vending machine to get some food. He sat at the table with his pops, talking to his pops, and his pops took that opportunity to tell him, "Look, she's a good woman. Do not play with her." And he asked his son, "What are your intentions?" Because this is somebody that deserves to be treated nicely, right? And his son told him, Lil D told him, he said, "Look, I don't know what this is going to bring, but I do like her. I do like her." And he said, "Well, the way you got to know her and what you're feeling now is two different things. So be sure that that's what she wants. Don't push her." And he promised his dad that he wouldn't and all this and that, right? Because they were not going to be at every visit. So when they came back to the table, Carolyn and his mom came back to the table, everybody's talking, enjoying themselves, and And Carolyn started to bring up, she wanted to talk about some scripture and all the different things that they had written each other about. And they were talking, and Lil D's mom and dad, they were impressed that, the fact that he was talking about the Lord in the way that he was talking about the Lord. They were quoting scripture and breaking them down and saying what they meant to each other and all this and that, right? And they looked at them and they were like, they fit. Now, it was too early, but, for anybody to really know what was going to happen, but they were like, they really get along. And on the level that they need to get along is going to help Little D. That's what his father thought. So, Little D's father took an opportunity to get up from the table and ask his wife to come to the vending machine. They were going to go get him some more food, before they left, let him eat that up. So they went to the vending machine just to give them a few minutes alone. And when he was at the table with Carolyn by himself, he reached over and he grabbed her hand and he told her, "Thank you for coming. I really appreciate that you decided to come to see me." And he said, "But what do you want out of this?" And she looked at him. She said, "I'm not sure what I want, but I do know that I want to make sure that your relationship, as best I can, your relationship with the Most High is what you focus on the most, not me." And he didn't really know how to respond to that. So he said, "Yeah, but I would like to be in a relationship with you." And she said, "How would that work? Under the circumstances, you're in here. Why don't we wait until you get out?" And he told her how much time he had. He had just started his sentence. He was in the first year of his sentence. He's on the 25 or 30. Let me break down something for y'all. 25 or 30 means that after about 7 years and about 5 months, about 7 years and 5 months, he would be eligible for parole. And being eligible for parole does not mean that you're going to be released, right? So when he told her that, she calculated in her head real quick. So it's like 6 more years and 5 months before he would get out. And she told him, she said, "Let's just see how this goes. Let's just see how it goes. I'll come to visit you." She said, "Because I go to school, and I can't really put too much into anything or anybody. I don't want that to interfere with my lessons and stuff like that." So he understood. So they decided that they would continue to visit, continue to write, and all of those different types of things, but take it slow. So when his parents came back to the table, they were like, "Is everything okay?" Because they could tell that the mood was a little different. Because honestly, Little D was a little bit disappointed in her response, but he respected it to the extent that he had to. He didn't have a choice. She was a strong-minded, well-grounded young woman, and she knew what she wanted, so she was not going to be easily fooled by, the fast talk and the looks and all this and that. So he didn't know how to respond to that. So he told his dad everything was fine and all this and that. And after about another, they all kept talking and laughing and playing cards and all of those different types of things. So when it came time, after he finished eating, it came time for them to leave. She asked that everybody to hold hands, and she wanted to pray. So they all held hands and bowed their heads, and she said this powerful prayer, asking God to protect him and watch over him and do all of the things that, you would ask the Most High to do for somebody that you cared about that was incarcerated, so that he would learn his lesson and come home and be a positive and productive member of society and somebody that followed, not just believed what the Most High said, but followed what he said and all these different types of things. And when she finished, she said, everybody said amen. You know what I'm saying? And everything was fine. He got up, he hugged his parents, he hugged her, but he felt some kind of way. He didn't know what this was. He was expecting to be able to get her to agree to be his girlfriend and all this and that, right? Just offer that because, they had been writing for a few months and he thought that he felt something, but it was him and more so than her. So they went their way. They went home and he went back to the compound and he was talking to his cellie about the situation, and his cellie started schooling him, giving him game, y'all, on what he needed to do and all this and that, right? So he told him, he said, "Look, you got one of them Christian girls, right? So what you need to do is appeal to her with the Bible, with the word. Now, listen to me, y'all. I want y'all to hear what I'm saying, and don't hear what I'm not saying either, right? See, I always tell y'all that, everybody in here has an angle, and they work those angles. And most people don't like the purity of a situation, the genuineness of a situation, right? They see it as an opportunity to come up and do this and do that. And Lil D saw this as an opportunity to come up with somebody that maybe down the road, get to manipulate and do some things, right? So if you got to play with the word to get that done, then so be it. Now, Lil D, he felt some kind of way about that. He listening to his celly. Celly been locked up for a little bit. He's listening to his celly, but he don't feel comfortable. It's something weird about this because you talking about playing with the Most High. He knew who the Most High was. He knew what's really going on. He knew what type of female, Carolyn was. So he didn't really want to manipulate and use her like that, especially with the word. But look here. His celly, the old head, his celly, he peeped the uneasiness that Lil D was expressing, right? And he said, man, look here, if you ain't built for it, you ain't built for it. Start playing on him like that, right? Because it's one thing you don't do in the penitentiary is you let anybody see that you ain't up to the task. You feel what I'm saying? Even if it's crooked. You feel me? You want them to see somebody that's down with it. Because in here, the most corrupt person, the most deceitful person, the most sour and meanest, those are the individuals that get the respect in here. Look here, I can't explain it all to you. It's no explanation really in logic when you're talking about darkness. But anyway, that's what gets the attention in here. You feel me? Be crooked, not straight. So he felt some type of way. You know what I'm saying? And that was that peer pressure. He wanted to be accepted by his celly. He didn't want to be seen as green. So he said, man, tell me how to get her. And he told him, he said, you write her a letter and tell her that you believe that God brought y'all together. Tell her that. Tell her this is fate. He said, as a matter of fact, I'm going to help you write the letter. And I'm going to tell you something. You got some smooth tongue dudes up in here. I'm talking about put it down. Ain't got no boundaries. Come on now. Think about what I'm trying to tell y'all now. This dude talking about playing with the Most High. You can't play with him. Can't play with the Most High. Try to trick him. You tricking yourself. Yeah, you feel what I'm saying? But anyway, he hit the letter up and he said all this and that about he believes God has brought them together and he respected her decision, but at the same time, he see her as his wife one day. Oh, wait a minute. He played on something that she really wanted. She wants to be married one day. So now he put in her head an expectation. Put the letter in the mail. She get the letter. She reads the letter. She's moved by it. See, she ain't got no reason to suspect that this is game. She's genuine. She's pure. She's innocent. Why would she think this is game? Why would he say this if it wasn't true? He wouldn't do that. I know his parents, she said. We went to the same church, the same high school. This is real. Maybe God did bring us together. Why would I give up all that I had and helping everybody to go see him? So she starts to talk herself into believing that this is meant to be. This is it. So she writes him back. And she tells him that she really is impressed by what he says. And if this is God's will, then let it be done. Let it be done. So she told him at the end of the letter, she said, I'll be up there to see you next month, when I finish taking my exams. So he gets the letter, he reads it, he's excited, he's showing his celly, you know what I'm saying? And his celly said, I'm telling you now, you got her, And he's like, you sure you think so? He's like, read what she said, man. Read what she said. She believed what you're talking about. He said, now you got to cap it off. You got to write her again and tell her that you feel the same way. You know what I'm saying? If this is meant to be, it's meant to be. But you got to also put in there now, he said, now what you got to tell her is that, but you want a God-fearing wife. You want a wife that's going to do what God says, submit to her husband. And this was a good time for y'all to start to practice that before you got married, because you don't want to get married in here, unless it's something she wants to do. See, he throw that in there so it could be her decision and not his. You feel what I'm saying? Now listen to me now. Y'all got to tune in to the next episode if you want to hear how this thing continues to play out, because it's going down, right? I told you, everybody in here got an angle. Everybody. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker. And I say peace, y'all.
I'm getting so tired.